Welcome back. We will talk about AMC today, about GME. We will take a first look at RIOT. We will update fuel cell. We will look what target BYND reached today. And of course, we will look at the combined chart of AMC and GME. If you're interested, just stay tuned. So, as always, I'm using the Fractal method. I will link the explanation video at the end of the video, or you just search for the playlist Fractal method on my channel. Okay, well, then let's start with AMC. So, for AMC, again, for the full story, for price targets, if it's a one-part or a two-part squeeze, I will link the full explanation video at the end of this video. We will just, for that it's not a too long video, look at the micro tracking, what we did today. So let's look. So in the last videos, we had still three versions. The one version where we bounce here, doing the A and then squeeze, or 2 days ago where we would have just this high, this would be our higher low, this would be our A, and we would just go up from here. Well, sadly, with this day today, this higher low died. Yeah? There is no if this then that, there is no it was just volatility. No. With this candle here, with this candle, this higher low died. So also version 3 and 2 died. Yeah? Yesterday, it really looked nice. With this drop today, no. It's only version 1 left. Right? That means you will drop down here. You will. You already did a lower low? Maybe in the most bullish way. Yeah? So to have a bullish alternative, yeah, which is not even a version, but to have a bullish alternative, okay? This was your V. Yeah, so 144 is a V. In that case, you still have to do now a higher low, and then you go, okay? If we are doing that, okay, I will update it. But I think you will go down now. Yeah. What levels? I don't think we will go to our trend line down here again. So what trend line I mean? I mean this trend line. I don't think we will touch that again, because in 2020 we touched it once, and the second time we made a lower low, but we didn't really came close, and we didn't touch it. So you could say that 2024 April was already our touch, and this here, January 2021, we are kinda near there. So in that case, we won't touch this trend line anymore. So in that case, we won't go to 125. Yeah? My target is still something 140 to 130-ish. That will be our new V. What happens after that? Well, then we have to do the higher low. So this thing, hopefully holding this higher low this time. Then going up to our A, 0.5 pullback, and then we squeeze. Also, I have to say, if we're not suddenly knifing tomorrow, instantly to 130-ish, and going massively up on Thursday and massively knifing on Friday, I see no chance for next week. Just saying. I would imagine, just for timeline, till Friday, hopefully we're getting our low, our V, and bounce there. Whole next week, if slow, we're going up. Whole the week following, we're doing the higher low. And then 3rd or 4th week of February, you have the chance to finish this and squeeze. It's a bumper, but with this break, no. Where would we be then right now? Well, so it's still not bearish. Yeah, I really have to say this looks good because we now really know, or in my opinion, we know where we really are, and that's good. And still the opinion, it's close. So where would we be? Left side 30-minute now, right side 1 hour chart in 2021. Yeah, and where we would be right now? We would be right now here. Yeah, January 5th. There would we be now. We still now need this drop to our V. Then we're doing this higher low, should be a short one. And here you're doing your A. And also here you're doing your 0.5 pullback, perfect. And then you squeeze. Yeah. Also the same before we go to GME. Because I already here, yeah, that's not possible, you're wrong. Because GME looks bullish and GME will squeeze. Yeah? And I agree with that. Yeah, GME really looks good. I will show that in a second. Yeah. But how can AMC go down? Yeah, because we are repeating 2021. Just look. Yeah. Here is 2021 on the 1 hour chart for AMC. Here is 2020 and 2021 on the 1 hour for GME. Yeah. What did we do? You can see it side by side. When GME fell down to its V, yeah, you see it, yeah, and AMC, when AMC fell down to its V and found its all-time low, all the time GME went up, all the time. I mean, I'm not saying that GME is now here, but that because that makes no sense. But I will show that in a second. But yeah, AMC will find now its low. And in my opinion, GME will still be bullish. The same like 2020. Okay, well then let's jump into GME. So for GME also, I will link the full story video at the end of the video. Today we just look at the micro tracking and not at the full story. So let's zoom in. So I said yesterday that I still have 2 versions, yeah? And that there's still a bearish version where we can still fall to 17. But I have to say, this version is dying from day to day, from day. So it gets all the time, every day, smaller and smaller and smaller. Why? Just because my alternative was bind to 2024 the candle, or I will show later in 2020 in the candle, which would mean that we would still be in this candle. But in that case, this pullback would be this little pullback. This uptrend here would be this uptrend. That means if we're not knifing in the next 2 days down to 17, this version is that. Simply as that. And we won't knife down there. So what is the bullish version? So the bullish version is simply this. We now will kinda normal or slowly grinding up to our A, which is between 80 or 35, 32-ish. Then we will take a 0.5 pullback from our V to our peak of A, wherever it is, 0.5 pullback. In the moment GME is reaching this target, AMC will be finished with its higher low and maybe with its 0.52, and both go into their squeeze. Which also means, of course, that November 21st was our V, our low, and December 31st was our higher low. So to what could we compare this? Well, because I showed before the comparison between AMC and GME, that GME goes up, but AMC will find its lower low, right? So AMC would still be in January 5th, but I can tell you GME isn't in January 5th. It just isn't, because this whole thing is still missing. Yeah? So where would be GME right now be? For the it looks like, yeah, this is still 2020 on the 1 hour, and on the left side is the 4 hour right now. So that what means this low here would be this V. This whole section here, so from November till December 31st, this whole chunk here would be from April till July, our higher low. After that, we did a small higher low. This one, this small higher low. This small higher low would be July to, so it would be July 20 to July 28. This one. This little thing here is this little thing here. Yeah. And then we made the uptrend. And then we made this uptrend here. This little uptrend. And we are somewhere in this little uptrend. Yeah. We might even did already this pullback, but I don't think so. And for that, I mean, I only show that to get a glimpse what we could do. I hate to use bars pattern. I really more like tracking with my numbers and my letters, because then I don't have to care about all this. Yeah? But for comparison, still, it would be somewhere in this uptrend. So the next question would be, okay, but do we still have to do all this? And my answer would be no. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, because in that case, this here is your break. Yeah, that means if you reach this, this is your break. Yeah, if you would look at GME completely alone, okay, you might have to do this. AMC doesn't have the time for that. It just doesn't. Yeah? For doing all this, GME should have started already months ago, but it didn't. And we didn't do that in 2024 either. Yeah? Just saying. In 2024, we made our V, our higher low, our A mit the 0.5 pullback, and we went straight up. There wasn't a big, slowly grinding up channel. So it doesn't have to be now here neither. Yeah. And with AMC's tracking, no. Both will the A and 0.5, and then they will go, in my opinion. Yeah. What does that mean for GME for time frame? Yeah. You will go up now. You will wherever hit your head and do your 0.5 pullback. In that time, AMC will make a new all-time low. I mean, it already did today, but it will reach its V, doing then the higher low, going up then to a 0.5. And when AMC is doing its 0.5, GME will go to its 0.5 too. And then we go. And for me, if you not suddenly see absolutely fucking crazy volatility, where we jump 5% up, next day 10% down, and for me, next week is that. Most likely the week after that too. Just saying. Okay. The combine chart. So just for a small explanation, yeah, this is the combine chart of AMC and GME. For people who don't know what that means, that's just if you put AMC plus GME in one chart, then you get this. And of course, because GME is the bigger one, GME has more weight in this chart. But you also see similar versions of AMC in here, like for example, in 2020, this is clearly AMC. Yeah? And this two-part thing here is also AMC. In the difference, this is more like GME. Also, the big difference between the normal stocks and the combined chart is that we got our V in 2020 in April. And since then, we did higher lows, as it should be, and not a lower low. Also, for the big macro tracking, this whole thing, so from April 2020 till April 2024, is a higher low. This whole thing is just a higher low, yeah, because it's higher than the V. And this thing here, since April 2024 till today, is also just a micro higher low of this. If it's just a theory, if there's anything on that. So, is this chart bullish or bearish? Well, there are two versions for this. Yeah? I will start with the bearish one. I don't think it's the bearish one. The bearish one only means that we had already our V. Yeah? Our V was here on December 31st. But this wouldn't be the V. Yeah? That means this top here was our T. We don't breaking this trend line. And the next thing which would happen would be a knife down to 1680. That of course means GME will dive to 17. Yeah? Because GME has the more weight to it, GME will knife to 17 if we're doing that. Yeah? Because if AMC falls 50 cents, you nearly don't see that on the chart. I'm not seeing that yet. For the bullish version, our T was in October 2nd. And that only means one thing. The T is finished here. We already did our little higher low. And now the same like AMC at GME, we will go up, do our A, do our 0.5, and then we squeeze. Yeah? So let's see. I said yesterday we will get our answer this week. And for AMC, we got it. Yeah. AMC broke its higher low, so it's not a higher low. We will go down. We have to start over. GME, in my opinion, didn't break down, so it will go up. And time frame, it's not next week. Yeah. Okay, let's look at RIOT. So for RIOT, I have to say I tracked this earlier. I didn't. The last time I looked at it was no, it wasn't January. September 2024 was the last time I looked at it. And it was still working perfectly. So for RIOT, we started our IPO in our BYND mark, did the 0.5 pullback. So in the best case, I would say somewhere here would be our invisible A. Yeah. Then we made our all-time high, perfect lower high, our midpoint, also working quite nice with our M line, where you break under it, try to come over it again, but we're rejecting, coming down again, trying to break it one more time, rejecting, down before. So in December 2017 was our T. We went to our all-time low, did a little tiny higher low you don't see because we're on the weekly, and then we broke out of the channel. Over T, perfect to our A. And if we take the 0.5 from our low to our A, we perfectly bounced at the 618. Then we did a small higher low. This here is already our little tiny A, which also perfectly bounced on the 0.618. So what should happen next? Well, our next target is B. And B should be around M. So 230. When would this happen? Well, I would imagine July to October-ish this year, yeah, you will reach your B line. Yeah? And to say this will be a quite volatile move. We also already have a kind of comparison for that. So just for side by side, yeah. So this is the whole chart, and this is just the IPO of RIOT on the weekly. So this section here, yeah. And in that case, you also already see the same thing, yeah. You see, somewhere in here is your lower high, your lower high. Here's your midpoint. Here's your T, your V. Here you have a higher low. Here is your little a, this A. You went up, made a pullback, breakout retest, and then already B comes. Yeah. I mean, it's only the B pullback. That's why it's shorter. Yeah. This one is bigger, also because it's the repetition. But in that case, we would be right now here in this candle. And also what is nice to see is where would it go? Yeah, because here that's pretty significant landmark is you have here, you have a drop and you have two single peaks. The same like here in November 10, you have a drop, you have two single peaks. Yeah, that means our next run, which is our B, should go over our M line, 230. This year, in my opinion, no financial advice. But this thing looks absolutely perfect. And to say this, we are still at $17. The only bumper I really have to say is because, of course, after I saw that, I instantly looked up for course. The only shitty part is max strike is $21 for the whole year. You don't get any higher contracts. That's the shitty part. So maybe you wait. I mean, that's absolutely your decision. You wait if they add new contracts, if we start going up, or you just have to buy max strike $21. And they are not that cheap. But for this move, I mean, I wouldn't go into May and April. I still think August, July at least, because this could take still a few months, but it would be worth it in my opinion. Okay, last one, FCEl. So for FCEl, nothing has changed for the tracking. Yeah, I will repeat it just in case. I always said I found no alternative. I found one. It's not a bearish one, but I found an alternative. So for FCEl, it's pretty simple. The IPO started in its B, yeah? Then we went to our C, lower high, midpoint, T. Knife down to our V. For the macro tracking, yeah, our next A is at 880, B at 20,000. Again, without a forward split, you don't come up here. Yeah? Also, for the micro tracking, our next B is 166. I think we will go there. Yeah? Only problem is one thing. You see, we already see how the B is looking like on FCEl. And I expect the same thing here. Our B peak is at the end of this big B. That means when we are tracking this move right now, and we're coming up here, I tell you, at IPO, this took 7 or 6 years. I would imagine we are doing something similar or even longer. Yeah? It's only saying, yeah. If we're reaching our target near here, I wouldn't hold. Okay, so let's look into micro tracking. So for micro tracking, our V was in May 2025. We did a perfect higher low. We held the higher low in comparison to AMC. We did a little micro higher low. We broke out, made our A. Then we made a pullback to the 0.618. Perfect. We made a little higher low, which is also already finished. And then we're breaking out. So this is our tiny A. Yeah. So maybe in the worst case, we still have to come down to 821. But I'm not really seeing this. If you're just taking from here, this was already a 0.5 bounce. So in my opinion, we would go up now. To what is the question? Well, here comes the old. Yeah. First of all, I will show the main version. Yeah. For the main version, our next target is M. As stupid as it sounds. Up here something in this range. $160 to $50. Something in here would be our big B. Yeah? Now to the old. Because, you know me, I hate it if I don't have an old. Yeah? Okay. For the main tracking, I always showed this side by side. So left side is now on the 8 hour and right side is on the 6 hour for more candles in 2019 and 2020. For the absolute bullish tracking, we would be right now here. Yeah. In December 2019, we are standing in front of the gap up and we are going to 168, 100-ish. Yeah. The only alternative to this would be we are not even here yet. In that case, we did our V, we did the small higher low, and we would be right now here in July 2019. Yeah? That means we still have to do this big higher low. But to say that, because now, we are not going up, that's shit. In that case, your T, you could easily say this candle here is this candle here. Yeah? And in that case, here is your price target. Yeah? $30. Just saying. That's still, and it's only an old right now, but that's still a 200%. And the max strike on FCEl is only $15. Yeah, you don't get anything higher. Yeah? So how can we say, is this the old or is it the main tracking where we are here? I think the most simplest way would be if we suddenly get a gap up, I still think we are in this. Yeah? Because here you don't really got a gap up, except at the end. So if we suddenly do something like this, and suddenly on the next day we get a gap up, then I would get worried. Yeah? I mean, for absolute confirmation, I would wait for the lower high. Yeah. If you're rejecting here and going down, I think that's already telling. But let's see. Next thing is still, in my opinion, upside. All in all, this thing still looks perfect. And of course, if we're going to $100, there's way more money to be made. But a run from $9 to $30 to $50 is also something. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what we get. Okay. Last one, BYND. Also here, for the big video, I will link the full story at the end of this video. Today we just look for the micro tracking. So, as I said yesterday, we only From 3 versions, we went down to 2 versions. And nothing changed today. We got maybe our answer today. So I said yesterday we had 2 versions. We start with the bullish version right now, so with version 1. I said yesterday that we, with this break here, yesterday, this was our T. And we have to go down for V under A, yeah? Which we did. We did. Perfect. What was it today? No. Sorry. This was yesterday. Yeah. So perfect. Yeah. I said we have to go down because we broke this, and we have to go down to 85 cents. That is our chance to bounce because it's the V and A. And with that knife today, that was perfect. So for version 1, this is still perfect. This now, for the bullish version, would be our V. What would come now? Well, we would now, doesn't matter how long it takes, this would be our higher low now. Yeah? With little A, B, C, L, M, T, blah, 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 blah. But as AMC, we are not allowed to break 85 cents or touch it. Sorry, or touch it again. If we do that, perfect. After the higher low, big boom boom numbers. Yeah. What I mean with big boom boom numbers, well, I mean you can watch the full video, but our next price target is still 25 to 15 for only A. Yeah? And I would still imagine it would be something violently like the higher low. Yeah. That would be the bullish version. The bearish version, version number 2, just means one thing, that this here is not a higher low, that this here is just our T. Yeah? That also means we will break down here. That also means that we have to go under 81 cents. And if you go under 81 cents, as I'm always saying, we still have a gap between 80 cents and 66 cents. In that case, in my opinion, you will fill this gap. And then again, you're doing your little higher low. I mean, in that case, I would imagine it would be something similar to what we did in October, maybe just a 2 to 3 hour higher low. And after that, we get monster candles. Because I really think we won't stay down here very long. Especially, what you have to imagine, the run after a higher low is the most of the time very violent one. So if we do that, no financial advice, but if we break down here, I already start buying here, all these areas. Yeah? Only one last warning, if you're not bouncing here at the gap fill, and you're still coming lower and lower and lower, careful. Yeah? Fractal can be absolutely perfect. What a fractal can't predict is delisting. Just saying. In my opinion, we don't want to break 59. But that's my personal no-no line. Yeah? Just saying. Otherwise, as I said, for bullish, if you bounce where we are right now, and you're doing a little higher low, and then we go, then we are ready to go. Okay. So, as always, the explanation video comes here, playlist here, and here behind we'll put the full story video. And of course, if you want to see more, leave me an abo. Let's see what the rest of the week is giving us. We see us tomorrow.